World of Matchups, week number 13. Spencer the Wiz, Blue Milk Boys Gaming. I am Dexter Reed. We are breaking down the New York Jets as they head to Minnesota to play the Purple People Leaders, who are 9-2 and ascending, having a nice strong year. Kirk Cousins, Jay Jettas, and company. So I love the fact that Zach Wilson was benched. I just got to say that right off the bat. Zach Wilson was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. The boy takes absolutely no responsibility for any of his actions. The guy is nothing but a MILF hunter who has lost the locker room and who will be out of football like Sam Darnold will be in like just another year. So in comes Mike White, the great white hope, the savior of New York. He looked good, man. Mike White looked good. All right. 3 touchdowns. Elijah Moore, who is a great player that just never got the ball. Now he's involved. He got everyone involved. Garrett Wilson ascending. I like the Jets, man. And you know what? I like them here. Minnesota -3. I know the Jets are on the road. But look, sometimes when you make a switch like Coach Robert Salah made and benching, Zach Wilson for this guy, and then you get the win. It's almost like that's who the locker room wants because Zach Wilson lost the locker room. And so now everyone's galvanized. They have a good record. They're 7-4. I mean, they're 7. The Jets have 7 wins. Spencer, the Jets have 7 wins. The Jets are going to the playoffs. The Jets have a good D. Sauce Gardner is fire. They've got a good team, bro. Why can they not go into Minnesota and cover 3 points? I don't see why they can't. Now, I know Minnesota is good, but to me, they're very boom and bust, man. If Minnesota doesn't hit you with an uppercut, you can stay in that game. Now, the key to this game for the Jets is going to have to be controlling Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. If they can control those two, they can stay in this game, if not even win this game. I'll tell you right now, I'm putting the Jets on a teaser card for this week, no question about it. Garrett Wilson is really, really good player. Now, their running back room is a little banged up. No one's really sure what's happening with James Robinson, but, they still got good players, man. Ty Johnson, this other guy with the name Z blew up last week. Their running back by committee might be better than most teams in the NFL right now. And so coach is going to rotate these guys in, keep them fresh. They're going to make the type of throws that they need to make. The Tyler Conklins will get a couple balls here or there. Garrett Wilson will be your alpha, and off we go. The Jets are a decent team. They're better than a decent team, bro. They're better than a decent team. And if you're scared, tease them down. But I could see a world where the Jets win this game outright. I like Kirk Cousins to Justin Jefferson. I like the Vikings this year. But there is something about the Vikings that is keeping me from buying in 100%. I'm talking about going deep in the playoffs. I'm talking about going to the Super Bowl. And I believe it's their defense. They just don't galvanize me on defense. You can stay in games with them. You can throw on them. You can run on them. I'm not sold. And so scared money don't make money. I've been saying this as long as I've known you. And so I'm going to take the Jets here. I'm going to actually take the Jets with confidence here. I don't know if they'll win, but I could see them covering the 3. Your thoughts?
This is just a weird game. Like, when was the last time the Vikings and Jets were good at the same time? I don't know.
We were both not alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So I don't even know. It's like hard to comment on this because, like, wow, I've never even seen these teams be competitive at the same time, especially the Jets. It's just
Jets, man.
You have to believe it at this point.
The Jets and the Seahawks are the surprise teams of the year, man.
I don't know. The Seahawks, I feel like, could start. I don't know. Are a hard team to read too. I mean, you lose to the Raiders. That's rough.
I gave them 1 win, bro.
I gave them one win. The Seahawks are obviously overperforming, but like the Jets, even more so, I think. So the Sauce Gardner, Justin Jefferson matchup obviously is going to be the biggest thing of the day. Can he do it? Like, he's been performing very well so far. Everyone's already calling him Darrelle Revis too. So that'll be part of the equation. But the Vikings, you're right. They're hard to read. It's almost like you expect them to lose every week, and then you check the box score, and it's like, wow, they won. Like, how did
this is an early game, right? This is the first game.
Yes.
If it's an early game, so you're going to see Kirk.
Yes, what I'm saying.
You're going to see Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
You see Kirk Cousins tomorrow.
That definitely bodes well in his favor. So for the Vikings.
True. That's true. Buy the points, guys.
Tease it. I'm going to go the opposite way. I think the Vikings win this one. I think the Mike White show was really hyped because they played against a really bad Bears team.
Bears are bad.
That's a rough team to watch play. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it wasn't like they played against Nathan Peterman and Trevor Siemian. So, the Jets saw the ball a lot more often than they probably would over the course of a regular football game. And I would imagine the Vikings are going to be able to move the ball in some level. Now, if the Jets just shut down the Vikings, like I'm almost ready to crown the Jets like the best defense in the NFL. Like
they're a good team, man.
That would be crazy. Or at least a top 5.
They are. There's no way around it.
And that's seemingly has been what the Jets' shortcoming has been in their losses. They don't have enough offense. So can Mike White provide that much more offense to put them over the hump? Like the New England game is obviously a very special case. I was like 10-3. Normally it's not that extreme. Normally you need just a little bit more of a push. You would imagine Mike White could do that, but every single week that Mike White's on the field is more film for the opposing team to look at. And that doesn't bode well for them because I don't know if Mike White is a world beater. I mean, we'll have to find out. This is the first real game that Mike White's played, I think, probably in his entire career. So it's a big stepping stone for him. And that's why I kind of favor the Vikings a little bit more. I'm not sold on Mike White. I feel like you can look good against the Bears this year. It's not really that big of an issue. Now, I'm not trying to take it away from him. Obviously, he won that game. He had 3 touchdowns. He performed very well, but they're not playing the Bears this week. And I think that's going to be one of the bigger factors. I think I'm generally going to stay away from this game and when it comes to betting this week, but I do like the Vikings in this matchup. I mean, you're in Minnesota. That Mike White's going to be going into a pretty rough crowd. Vikings fans are pretty crazy. You know what I mean? So I think the Vikings can take care of it a business at home. I think if anything, I would tease the Vikings. I can't imagine the Jets are going to blow them out of the water. I don't see that kind of thing happening because I don't think the Jets are like Super Bowl contenders just quite yet. And I think the Vikings are really kind of pushing towards that. I don't know what the standings are in the NFC, but I would imagine the Vikings have to be the top.
They're leading.
Yeah, they have to be, right? So I think that's important to them. They want that first round bye, and they can't lose games like this if they do want the first round bye. And I think they understand that. I think they're a really cohesive team right now. I think they're clicking on all cylinders. And I think the Jets are still figuring it out with the late QB change in the middle of the season, which is really hard to transition into. They had a good kind of like waiting port for that against the Bears. And now things get serious. So we'll have to see. This is one of those games that I like to observe as a bettor. I'm a casual bettor, but you know what I mean? When you want to watch these games to see, okay, this is Mike White in the most serious kind of game. How does he perform? And that can kind of shape your opinion on other matchups later in the season if you want to bet for against the Jets. So I'm going to stick with the Vikings in this one. I like them. I think they're going to keep pushing. I think they want that first seed. And like I said, you can't lose this game if you want the first seed in the NFC.
You can't. A couple things come to mind for me. Every time Mike White has set foot on the field wearing a Jet uniform, whether it was this year or last year, he made something happen. Same thing happened last year. And I think the X factor here is a guy like Elijah Moore, who's just begging to be released, begging for the ball, never got the ball. Now this guy's going to start getting the ball. This guy is an electric player. So if you put him on one side and then you got Garrett Wilson on the other side, Conklin in the middle, and a serviceable running game, the Vikings D is not good. All right. I saw that Vikings.
Yeah, maybe the over is the play in this game.
Dude, the Vikings got their shit pushed in at home versus Dallas. That game was over the first 5 minutes of the game. Okay, if a team hangs 40 on you in your own building and you can't even score a touchdown, I've got question marks surrounding your squad. You're a little suspect. I don't care what your record is. And I saw that happen. So to me, that shows zero kind of home field advantage whatsoever. I know Dallas is good. You know what I mean? Dallas has got solid defense. I get all that. But my goodness, bro, 40-3. I think the Jets find a way to stay in this game. But again, just like the first game we broke down, it can go either way. So we're both on opposite sides of the fence for our first two. World of Matchups, Blue Milk Boys Gaming. Bring in the heat for every game as always, guys. Enjoy this one. It's going to be a good one. Jets need more respect on their name, NFL. I'm telling you, start paying attention to this team. They're a good team.